So hi guys, welcome to the next episode of the 1964 Tier 4. We're approaching the end of this series. I don't know how many more videos there are going to be, but not many because we are running out of things to do here. Soon we're going to be ready and we're going to deliver the car to the owner so he can enjoy it for the season, which is fast approaching. Anyway, so you saw what we've done in the last episode, and in this episode we have a few more mechanical things that we need to do. That involves installing the front shocks, which I already installed one side. I thought there wasn't going to be anything interesting, but actually there was something that I didn't know about, so I'm going to show you now when I'm installing the right one. And then I want to deal also with the pedal box, because the clutch and the brake pedals are very shaky. Apparently there are some bushings and a shaft there that get worn. It's just like TR3, I believe. So we're going to deal with that as well. And there's another problem that occurred. I can show you quickly. You see that? Apparently that's brake fluid, and it's leaking from the rear right wheel. I don't know why. I have to take it apart. Maybe it has something to do with what I've done there. I changed the mounting hardware on the wheel cylinders, so maybe the line was on the verge of breaking, so we're gonna have to go and check that, and I'm gonna have to make sure that all the rest of the lines are good. There's also a little bit of coolant here, but this is from when I changed the temperature sender unit up there. I lost a little bit of coolant, but that's okay. There's a little bit of oil leak over there, and that I believe is from the oil cap. The oil filler cap leaks from here, so when we were running the engine, it just comes here, goes behind the engine, down, and leaks between the transmission and the engine. I've no idea why it leaks from here. It was leaking before when the owner brought the car initially, and I thought that it was too high of crankcase pressure because of blow-by of the pistons and the rings, etc. But now, why does it leak now when this is actually open? So if this is open, that should release the pressure. It shouldn't leak from here. I'm gonna see if I can find another cup and test it with that so we can get rid of this leak. So yeah, these are little things that we wanna deal with. Oh, we also have an exhaust leak on the two joints underneath. You know, we changed the exhaust to stainless, and both joints underneath are leaking, so we'll see if we can deal with that as well. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. Now to begin with, we have to remove these butterfly brackets, as I like to call them. I don't know what the official name is. We have to remove them from here and install them on our new shock, which is here. So it is virtually the same shock, but there's a little difference. And the difference is here in the shape. It doesn't affect how it works. However, it affects how we mount it. It is much easier to mount this one than this one. So I'll show you why. But let's go first and replace this. So initially here, I was a little bit surprised when I was taking the suspension apart. When I saw this, I was like, okay, somebody snapped the bolt and they welded it, and now it is not removable. But then I realized that I was wrong. I'm used to TR6 suspension mostly. On TR6 you have a bolt with a nut on the other side. Here it is different, so I'll show you now, in case you're not familiar, just like me. So we have this lock tab here that we have to undo. And if we are lucky, this is not going to be too seized. The other side wasn't. Yeah, actually, turns pretty well. So to my surprise, what we have here is this, like a tube with threads, with internal threads. So that's how it works. Well, it looks like I forgot to press the recording button, but anyway, so we cleaned that tube inside, whatever it is, or sleeve with the thread, and we put some grease on it, and we assembled it the same way, and we bent the top washer. So nothing special about that. This bolt goes until it bottoms out. Otherwise your studs here won't match probably. So anyway, that's done. Let's install it on the car. Alright, so now here what we have to do is leave only one of these plates and the one rubber bushing on top, and the other bushing goes after we install it. It goes on top here. You see how both of them have this little ring, and both ring, I guess we should call it, they have to face each other because they create this gap. And then of course on top we have our other plate, and normally there are two nuts. These ones come with just one nylock nut. So anyways, that's not a big deal. The thing is though, on TR6 I'm used to stretching the shock as far as it goes all the way, and then I put it from underneath. I match the hole on the top, and once the hole on top matches, I match the bottom studs too, the 4 studs underneath. Here though, it doesn't work that way. The 4 studs can't align because this part of the shock here is hitting the bottom plate and doesn't allow it to push more. It needs to go a little bit more so the 4 studs align, but it can't go, just it hits. The old shock, because of this shape, can move a little bit more and the 4 studs line up. Here though, this corner hits the plate. So the trick is to have the shock not stretched all the way, so it doesn't go through the top hole, and that allows it inside the spring to move a little bit this way. And when it moves this way, now you can bend the brackets like this, and that's over exaggerated. I just want to show you what's happening. And now this corner is further away from the plate. Now you can raise it, match the 4 studs. There's this plate that also goes on the same studs, so you can put your nuts, and then you can straighten it through here, through the spring. You can push it, expand it, and then this stud can go into the hole and you can finish assembling it. So that's the trick. If you try to put this first, your studs won't go. So I don't think I can show you that from underneath, but I hope you get the idea. Alright, so we finished there. Rusty approved. So next let's see what the problem here is. So I already took the wheel off and I checked, and as you can see here, the brake line looks like it is leaking from right here. So I'm assuming that when I replaced the hardware here, the brake line got cracked here or something. So we're gonna have to replace it. And this brake line goes here and into the T over there on top of the axle. So we should take it out completely and make a new one. It's gonna be the easiest. If we try to cut this off and make new flare, it's gonna be disaster. So we're gonna take the whole brake line off. And in order to prevent the brake fluid from leaking more, even though I guess we might have leaked it all, I don't know, we will see. But I'm gonna undo it from there, and I'm gonna put this homemade plug on. So this is a old fitting with old brake line, which I actually welded here, so I'm hoping it's gonna hold. But even if it doesn't hold perfectly, at least it's gonna hold better than nothing, right? So I'm gonna try to undo it from there now, and from here, and take it out completely. Well, it turns out I didn't need to cap that because there's not even a drop of brake fluid remaining there. It's all on the floor. Anyways, it was a little bit of struggle to remove that line from there. I ruined both fittings. Had to use these guys. But anyways, it's out. This is it. Don't drip on my table. Anyway, this is the line. And you see I rounded both fittings on both sides. But we're gonna replace them. I have new ones here. They are 3/8-24 with non-threaded lead. I have a few of them, so we're gonna replace them. And I also have this nickel copper or copper nickel line, 3/16 that we're gonna use, and we're gonna have to bend it in the same way. And we're gonna use for the first time my Christmas gift to myself. So it is March, but I bought this to myself for Christmas. And I guess you've seen me using one of these, but that one I always borrowed from my friend Eugene. Now I have one for myself. It's much cheaper than what he has. His is from Eastwood and it's expensive. Mine is from Amazon and it's much cheaper than the one from Eastwood, but I'm pretty sure that it is the same make, just branded differently. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but we will see. So for those of you who haven't seen me using one of these, I will explain now. So we have the crimping part, I guess, and we have this head with different tips, and they are all different sizes. Here we're going to use the 3/16 size, and we have operation 0, so this is a flat one for all of them, just to align your tube initially. Then you have operation 1, which is 3/16 operation 1, and then we have operation 2, 3/16 and 1/4 inch. So that's our operation 1, that's our operation 2. And we have operation 1 and operation 2 for the different bubble, flare and double flare. So we're going to explain what bubble and what double flare are. We also have these blocks. Again, they're for different lines, sizes. So this is for 3/8, I guess, 45 degrees, 1/4 inch. So this is 3/16 or 475 millimeters. And this is the 45 side, which we use for bubble or double flare. And this is for DIN, which is, I don't even know what kind of flare that is. For our brake lines, we always use the 45 side. So let's set up on the vise and I'll show you. I guess we should set up this way so you can see what's happening here. This is my head, so it goes inside. It has a spring-loaded ball on this side that clicks inside each and every one, so it lines up your thing. Okay, there you go. Then we're gonna put our blocks again with the 45 side this way. Okay, so always, even though I'm just gonna show you now an example, always you have to put your line first, your fitting first. Don't forget that. I make it a habit, even when even when I don't have anything on the other side of the line. I'm trying to keep it as a habit to put the fitting in, even though I can still fit it from the other side. So now maybe we should change positions so you can see better. Okay, that's a little bit uncomfortable for me, but you're the more important. So we have the fitting on. We can fit the line inside. Come on. We can put our line inside, put our block. Doesn't matter how much it sticks initially. Lock this in place and snug it very, very lightly. Now with operation 0, when we pull the handle, now you see it lines up our block and our line. They're perfectly aligned now. So now we can tighten this better. And this is a copper nickel line or nickel copper line, which is pretty soft, so it doesn't need much tightening. And now we can go to our operation 1 for 3/16, and we go all the way until we bottom up. And that's our bubble flare. I'm gonna take it out. Normally if you do a double flare, you don't need to take it out, but I'm just gonna take it out to show you what it looks like. So that's our bubble flare, you see? You only use operation 1 and you have a bubble here. For double flare, you go after you've done operation 1 and you've done a bubble flare. Now you have to do, so now I'm just gonna align it with this. Normally you don't do that, right? So now that we have a bubble flare, but we want a double flare, now we go to our operation 2 and turn it and do the same thing one more time, all the way. There you go. And now when you take it out, we have a double flare. So you see what a double flare is? That's it. And now with our fitting, we can tighten it. We can put it in, and that's it. We actually done one side. I thought I was gonna just use it as an example, but we can actually use it. So actually, this cheap tool is actually pretty good. So I'm gonna put a link in the description if you wanna buy it. I don't remember what I bought it for, but it was much cheaper than the one from Eastwood. I'm sorry, Eastwood. All right, so now let's bend the line. I don't think I even need tools to do that. By the way, I don't know what was wrong with the line here that it was leaking. I think the flaring, yeah, this is the reason why. You see the flaring is not that good. Look at this flare. Look at this flare. Look at this flare. So the problem was how they flared it. And it wasn't rusted or anything. It was just not flared properly. Anyways, now we can start matching this one to this one. And here I'm gonna show you a trick now. That's something that I came up with, so I don't think that anybody else does it, but I tape them together. And then from there, we can continue bending it. There are special pliers that you can use to bend it, but I don't think you need them for a copper or for a nickel copper line. And now here, before we made the last bend, we're gonna have to estimate and cut it first, make the flare, and only then make the last bend, because otherwise we're not gonna have room for our fitting, you know, if we bend it. I always go a little bit at a time, like very little, and I make 2 turns, and this way it doesn't make a burr inside. You see? And then our fitting. First thing after you cut it, put the fitting on. Okay, I think we might need to straighten it more again. Yeah, that should be enough. Even if it's a little bit bent, your tool is gonna straighten it. So again, snug, operation 0, then tighten, operation 1, operation too. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect flare. Alright, so now we can finish bending it to the right shape. Alright, so it is installed. I don't know why it takes such a weird route. Anyways, I cleaned the bleeder as well here, and now we have to bleed the brakes, but I'm gonna wait for someone to come and help me with that. Maybe Chef Tash or my son Nick. Maybe Rusty can help me. Can you help me bleed the brakes? Can you help me bleed the brakes? Oh, okay. Don't push me. You have to go push the pedal. Help! 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 Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna wait for Chef Tash when he comes for a Diet Coke one day, or when Nick shows up. Somebody's gonna help me bleed them. For now, I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Alright, so next, let's look at this pedal box. So, you see what's happening here? Both pedals are moving like crazy. So, we're gonna have to take them out and rebuild this assembly here. So there's 4 bushings there, and I'm assuming that they're worn. And once we take it out, which comes out with these few bolts here, once we take it out, we're gonna have more access to the bottom over there, and we want to install this mount for this flusher unit that we replaced the other day, so we can mount it there. Actually, we have to unhook them from here, from the master cylinders. This switch, I guess we're gonna we don't need to take it out, but if it's in our way, we can take it out, no problem. So you see there's 6 bolts from underneath, 1, 2, 3 here, and 3 on the other side. So let me see how easy it is gonna be to remove them and take out the pedals. Alright, so the pedals are out, and it turns out these 4 here are studs that go from underneath, so you have to remove the nuts from here. There are 3 bolts here. I thought there were only 6, but there's 7 actually. There's 1 more here, so these 3 go from underneath. So it's all removed now. Even this is loose, but we're not gonna remove it. So let's see how to disassemble this, because there's shaft inside and bushings. So how does this shaft come out? Never done that before on a TR4. I believe TR3 is the same, and TR2. Yeah, you see this is separated here already. So yeah, these are cups. How are they gonna come out? Unless it's open there. Probably it's open. I don't wanna force it. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's open underneath. There you go. Yeah, here it's kind of on an angle. You see, it's this curve here also prevents you from taking the pedal box down. When you're taking it down, actually from in the car, you need to wiggle it around to get it out. And here too. It's not very smart. There you go. So this one is out, and here is the shaft. I need to undo these springs first. Okay, finally. So now what is stopping the pedals from going up? Nothing. They just get wedged here. So now at this point we should be able to take out the shaft from inside. Okay, so here's our old shaft, and now pedals can come out. Okay, So the pedal and this lever were welded to this tube with this thing inside. That's interesting. Okay, well, so here's the bushings. We can take them out now and replace them. The thing is, we assemble with them like that, or we paint them first. By the way, here on the clutch pedal, I can see that this hole is oval a little bit. That's where the plunger on the master cylinder attaches. And if you have play here, you're gonna have play in your clutch operation, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld it and then we're gonna drill it to the proper shape again. First I need to clean them anyways. All right, it's actually a few days later, but everything is cleaned and painted, so that's better. Even the springs are cleaned. We have the new bushings here, we have the new shaft and the new bolts for the sides. I think the bolts were missing on this one. Anyway, so it's time to rebush them and assemble it. So here inside we have two bushings. They're two separate bushings, and I think I'm gonna try to push them both in one direction because I have to press them out. So one option is to put something inside like that, but I have to hammer it. But if I put a socket or something and push them both in one direction, it should be easier. I mean, I don't feel a ridge or anything in the middle, so this one should be able to go through and come out on the other side. So let me measure and see what size of a socket I need for here. Actually, I can take one of the new bushings, which are, by the way, from most motors, part number 330-275. So I'm gonna take a socket that has this outer diameter, which in my set happens to be 1/2 inch. It's exactly a smidge smaller than this bushing. So let's see how easy it is gonna be to push these out. Okay, so far so good. Now I hit the other one, I can feel it, and now it's moving too. Okay, two bushings are out. Let's push out the other ones too, and then we're gonna put the new ones in. Sorry. Okay. Perfect. Let's see how the shaft fits. So this is the shaft from most motors, part number 582-600. Okay. Yeah. There's barely any play in it. Okay. Let's put the other one. Right, so let's see now how these pedals went. So the levers on top are like that. Don't put them like that. I guess we have to install them on the shaft, so we're gonna put some grease on the shaft. I just told you how to install them, and then I installed them backwards. Okay, that's better. How was this working like that? Okay, we need to make sure that these like metal grommets or whatever they are, they fit around the plate. Okay. This thing needs to fit inside. I hope you can see. Do you see? So we're gonna put lock washers. Okay, and now let's see if it is too late to put the springs on, because I kind of forgot about the springs. So this one is bent, we're gonna straighten it. Or it's actually straightened and we're gonna bend it. Okay, that's how it goes. There you go. And the other one is easier because it ends up on the other side, on the outside. It still comes back. Okay, let's install these, the pads. Okay, so this was an aftermarket spring that was installed here to pull back also this pedal. Maybe the brake lights were not coming off, so somebody installed this spring, extra spring here. We will see. I hope it's not needed now, but we will see, because the pedal comes back really nice. We will see. Let's install it on the car. All right, so the pedals are installed back with all the hardware. The master cylinders are installed back. I've removed this switch before, so we installed it back and I adjusted it. I believe this extra spring was installed because the brake lights were coming on randomly and they just wanted to make sure that the pedal comes all the way back. But now I adjusted it in such a way that it turns on. Let me turn the ignition on. The electronic ignition is disconnected, don't worry. So the way it was adjusted before, I memorized it, I put it the exact same way, and when I was just doing this, and the lights were coming on. Now I have to actually press harder here, this much. I have to actually put pressure on it so it can turn on. So now I don't think this extra spring is needed, because this backlash that we have here doesn't affect our brake lights. But if I press a little bit harder, that's when they come on. So I think it's adjusted better now. All right, and let me show you the pedals underneath. So the pedals are, turn off this light or just turn it around. Okay, the pedals now are much more solid. And I also installed that bracket that holds the flusher unit there. So it's perfect. All right, here we are done. And actually today the weather is really good. I would have taken it out for a spin. Even my backyard is not so muddy anymore, so I could have taken it for a test drive. Let me connect this before I forget. But the problem is I don't have brakes. Remember, we fixed the brake, we changed the brake line, so now our master cylinder is empty. And I had my son over last weekend, and he could have helped me bleed the brakes. The problem was I didn't realize that I removed the pedals. So how can I bleed the brakes without pedals? So now that I put them together, I don't have anyone here to help me, but I might try. I might try it with my vacuum pump, so to bleed the brakes, so I can take it for a test drive, because I really want to test drive it before I finish assembling the transmission cover and the whole interior here, because that's one of the last things that we need to do. We need to assemble the interior, we need to change these seals here on the side, and we need to deal with the seat. These are the last things that we need to do on this car. So if I'm able to test drive it today, I can finish everything else in the next 2 days. So let me try to do that. All right, I was actually able to bleed the brakes pretty well with my vacuum pump here, and the pedal has a pretty good resistance now. It's pretty hard. I'm probably gonna try again once I have a helper here. I don't want to bother my girlfriend, but once I have Chef Tash or my son here, we're gonna bleed them better. But now I'm sure that I have enough brakes for a quick test drive. Like I told you, the weather is pretty good, so it's not cold. It's about 7 degrees, I believe, Celsius, which is not bad. But the most important, my backyard here is not that muddy. I can actually walk on this. Before it was like puddles. So I can drive her out and go for a test drive. I need to put the steering wheel, I need to clean it up inside so it's drivable. Here in the engine bay, I replaced this line. I bought a silicone vacuum line, which is perfect actually. It is 4 millimeters inner diameter, and it works great for the whole thing. It's plugged in under there. So yeah, we can take her for a test drive. The most important, I don't need to test the engine now. Most importantly, I want to test the transmission, the tachometer, not the tachometer, the speedometer, because we've done some work on it, and the overdrive wiring and everything. So I want to make sure that everything is working properly here so I can assemble the interior. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking, because it's about 3:30 and soon it's gonna start getting cold again. All right, we're ready for the test drive. We moved the Miata, which, by the way, you see, we started the other side the other day. So we have room, and now we can start driving. This is actually the first time in, I don't know how long, in months, she's on her own wheels. I mean on the floor, because before she's always been on those dollies, so I can drag her around the shop. And yeah, she looks great. Anyways, let's go for a test drive. And if you think that you're not coming with me, you're wrong. You're coming. This is where you go. You go right here. Do you see like that? Maybe zoom you out a little bit. Or not? You're good. Okay. We're gonna plug in a mic. Okay. Oops. All right. Let's see. The seat is not mounted permanently, so it is a little bit okay. I warmed her up already. So let's go. Yay! Well, she moves under her own power, which is good. I don't have much battery on my mic, so I hope I don't lose you at some point, but if I lose you, whatever. So all we want to test now is if the transmission works well. We have brakes. Yeah, we have brakes, so that's good. If the transmission works well, and if the overdrive works, that's what we want to test. The engine, well, it would be great if it works well, but if not, oh. Pinging. Okay. overdrive. Okay. We have an issue. The overdrive is not working for whatever reason. Okay, we're gonna have to go and diagnose that. We'll see. Hopefully it's electrical. And what's with the pinging? The overdrive is not working at all. I forgot what's on, what's off, but still. And here the transmission, this thing is not allowing me to put in second gear. Is this reversed? I think this is reversed. Anyways. Alright, so we have multiple issues. Alright, so we have multiple issues here. Weird. So the overdrive is not working for whatever reason. I should have tried it manually, you know. That's something I didn't try. But we'll see if that's an electrical issue or whatever. This dome here is not allowing me to put in second gear. I don't know why. We're gonna try reversing it. The speedometer is going crazy, even crazier than before. At higher RPM there was this pinging, which I'm assuming, again, timing. I'm pretty sure we need to correct the timing. And yeah, so let me quickly check this. All right, so I reversed this and now I think it is, now I think it's working better, the second. Okay, let's see if this time it's gonna be better. I played a little bit with the wires on the overdrive. I reversed this, so now we should have second gear. And I also gave a little bit of advance on the timing. So let's try this again. Let's see the overdrive now. No. Now it engaged. Okay, I had to manually push the overdrive once and now it works. I don't know why. Looks like the solenoid is getting stuck. But once I pushed it, it worked. It looks like with a little bit more advance, the ignition is working better now, no pinging. Alright, so here's the conclusion. For whatever reason, the solenoid needs a little push initially, because a few times it got stuck and power comes to it, but it just needs a little bit of push from underneath with your finger and it goes on. So I have to investigate that and see why it's getting stuck. Second gear now goes in, no problem. The speedometer, you see it even stayed here. Something's going on with it. It goes well for a while, and then after 60 miles, I guess, well, I don't think it shows correct miles because it goes to 60 at some point. Even the RPM, I think it shows much higher than what it is actually. So we're gonna have to investigate that as well. But other than that, I pushed the timing a little bit more, advanced it a little bit more. So in my calculations now it is probably at 8 before top dead center. And now it runs much better, but still I have an idea about the engine tuning that probably that's what we're gonna do in the next video. Hey, don't peek. I said in the next video. Here it keeps leaking oil from, look, from everywhere, even from here. Why? I don't understand. Like, looks like lots of oil is splashing right under here. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to seal that, because look, I'm driving with this open and it doesn't leak from here. It leaks from here and from the other side of the cup, and it pools here and drips underneath on the exhaust and everywhere. So anyways, so looks like I still can't put the interior on because I want to make sure that the overdrive works every time, and we also need to deal with the speedometer. So anyway, so this video becomes way too long. I'm happy that at least we did one test drive. I'm not really happy with all the results, but now we know the issues that we need to deal with, so we're gonna do that tomorrow. And for now, we're gonna put an end to this video here, and we're gonna continue. There's gonna be a few more episodes of this series, I guess. So thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing, supporting the channel, whether it is with financially or with donating things. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So stay tuned for the next episodes of this one and the GT6 engine. I know that you don't like engine videos too much, but anyways. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.